Ladies and gentlemen, you are aware of Retail Association of India starting a new award, and the award is called the Startup Award in Retail. And this Startup Award in Retail is supported by Kishore and his group. So I just wanted to check with Kishore as to how he does this, how he looks at the whole startup ecosystem. I know you had some views of yours on the e-commerce and the online and the digital and the small startups because you said none of them can scale. But you're supporting the whole startup ecosystem. I mean, what's the philosophy behind it, and what do you think about the startups? And
I believe any company which creates some value addition in the economy is really a company. And most of the companies which we recognize as startups were not adding any value to the economy. And I believe this award might look at the people who add value in the economy and build a startup. I think it comes also from a very famous TV serial, Saas Bhi Kai Bahu Thi. Somebody should become as big as us tomorrow from the startup community.
Oh, wow. So I think those of you probably sitting for the startup competition today, I think you have a clue. If your presentation is still not made up, just see where you're adding value. He's saying, you bought an apple, how well have you made the apple tart? What is the value addition that you have done? Is that what you're saying?
Value addition to the economy. There has to be some value addition, otherwise how will somebody pay for it? Why will somebody pay for anything to it?
So Kishore, do you have in your mind, one is this, value addition to the economy. Is there anything else? I mean, I also look at the individual, the management behind it, because most of them are startups, they'll have a few people. How do you gauge that potential of a startup?
I think they have to understand India at its term also.
So the second one is India at its term. We are getting the clues for all of you who are in the startup
I think most of the people who are creating any startups are looking at another world, an imaginary world which doesn't exist in India.
So be grounded, be grounded and then come out with this. Last question is, what about this whole thing about what Vijay said, return on capital employed, valuation, eventually making big money like the Facebook? Is that important? How do you
I think anything
gauge?
which has a potential, I don't know, but there must be a jury which might gauge in.
I want to do, so this is also a clue to some of the jury members, so they know how to really evaluate that from your point of view.
But I believe there are so many, this country is full of entrepreneurs, and I have dealt with many in my life, and I believe sometimes when you meet an entrepreneur, you know there is something in him.
So I know of many of the entrepreneurs you have supported, and they're all friends within us. So if I look back at Siddharth Bindra and Biba and look back at Ajay Gupta of Chings, okay, and not taking their personal things, but what are the sparks that you saw then, and now you believe, yes, it was